Chelsea's Premier League opener felt a little too familiar for my taste. Gave me vibes of last year's slump, missed chances, our creative players lost in the game. A bit of a struggle. However, we're still happy the Premier League season started. Welcome back to FFB, amigos. And today we're going to get into this game, the first game of the season. Liverpool got off to a running start. I watched the Brighton game. I wasn't able to do the live for you guys this time around because I'm at work. I escaped to make this video right now. But certainly I will be doing some lives coming up. And like I was mentioning, it was a lot of the same problems of our slump last season. And that was a little sad to see. Like I said, no creativity, missed chances, all this. But also, late to change, Maresca. I know a lot of the fans, we felt, and I saw a lot of the pundits very obvious on when the lineup is going to be. And I'm not saying that one change or two changes would have made the complete difference from the beginning, but it sure felt like it because once we have Estevao Willian on the field, and I know that sacrifices Pedro to have to play on the left, but I think that would have been changed. So let's discuss the starting lineup. Sanchez in goal. Today he punched the dude in the head, and that didn't help. And the free kick that, man, tell me in the comments, was that okay to be disallowed? I see both cases. I think I have to read up on that rule. It said they were within 1 meter of the actual wall. So he shifted the wall. Like, I don't think the problem that much is that he ran into Caicedo to move him along. Because technically Caicedo, I don't know if he was in the wall. I think he was like a loose man covering. So doing some man marking. So I'm not sure. But in any case, if it's considered that it was within 1 meter of the wall, apparently, and affected the wall, the free kick on. But that shot went straight down the middle. Yes, it was a missile, and yes, it went direct, but it went pretty much on the goalie side, but mostly towards the middle, wasn't that close to the post, and Sanchez struggled with that. Other than that, it wasn't terrible. Reece James, Mac Daddy. Sadly, one of the very few creative things that we saw in I would say up until the 70th, 80th minute that were positive, I think, came from obviously Cucurella doing his runs, but from people's feet, from people's boots. It came from Caicedo, James, and actually from Chalobah, who was trying to find some deep balls and stuff. Which begs the question, we have the best supposedly player, one of the best players in the world, and the best 10, in Cole Palmer. And he seems to be trapped sometimes. And against the low block, it just becomes a problem. I think especially when there's not somebody running the overlap around him or making space. And I think that with James inverted is a bit of a problem, but okay. And then there's two things that Enzo Fernández is great at, right? He's great at arriving late in the box. He's proven that over the last recent seasons. And he's great with the long range of passing. There is no long range of passing against a low block if you're one of the 5 in the line of 5 of attack that Chelsea forms, a line of 5 or a line of 6 when we attack, when we have the inverted fullback and the DM and the other midfielder join the 3 in attack. It could turn into a line of 5, a line of 6. That becomes quite static, and we pass the ball around. And it's messed up to say because if one goal goes in, that changes everything. But guys, that's what we said in how many games last season, and that's what's a little tragic now having Joao Pedro, that I think he struggled a little bit. Then we had some missed chances, right? The one that falls to Chalobah, he skied it from 2 meters. That's sad, and they were claiming it was so bad he even thought it had to be a corner. I couldn't have kicked that. He just skies that ball. And look, I'm not going to pin Chalobah on it because I think he's doing some coverage. He's playing a good game. We all love Chalobah, and I'm not calling upon him to make that goal. As a professional, you shouldn't miss that goal, but he's not the one. With the firepower that we have right now, that should not be on him to do. Champong, who was the other one that played in the middle, he had some rough moments, but I think being somebody that is usually playing as a left center back or on the right center back, not the center back, it's a huge responsibility. You usually carry the line. It was difficult. He did make a couple of mistakes, but I think given his age and everything, he did okay. Cucurella, as always, I think he did a good job most of the game. He's a handful. And games like this, he's the one that's running into the channels, and that's very helpful. Caicedo was unbelievable as always. But then we come to our 2 10s, or our 8 and our 10, which is Caicedo, Palmer and Enzo Fernández. And there wasn't enough there, amigos. And that's a difficult one thing, and that's where I think it's tactical. Because you know that they both have the skill, and certainly Cole Palmer has the skill. And he just wasn't finding the places, he wasn't finding the positions, it wasn't working out for him, and I saw him shift around the game. And that was a little concerning. There's no critique on him as a quality of a player. He's an unbelievable player. He'll continue to be an unbelievable player. But in this type of game, something seems to happen sometimes. And I think maybe Fernandez wasn't fit, although it wasn't lack of physical tenacity what I saw, or physical ability what I saw today. It just seemed a little bit tactical, not being able to find spaces. And the only times that I've seen some danger is some of the long balls that were played from the players in the back. So it was really tricky. We'd attack with speed, but then cut in and not be as successful with that last ball. And that's the problem. And again, guys, a goal goes in, and this is a different conversation. And obviously, Crystal Palace would have to come out a little bit further, and the game changes. But we can't say that too often. If we intend on, some of you are nuts. I'm going to do my predictions. I was going to wait till the first game started for the Premier League to do my prediction video, because even now, not all the transfers are in. And you guys might consider that cheating, but I think that's silly. We don't know really what how they debuted, how they started. The coaches show their intentions a little bit, and then see what reinforcements these teams were able to bring in to make a little bit of a better prediction. It's going to be bad. Like, all these are bad, but definitely. Then we have in the middle Caicedo. And later in the game, Andrés Santos came in. We had Fernández and Caicedo, but later he came in, and man, he skied one really bad. That was so sad. That was disappointing, because I know that must have hurt. If he's on the bench and he gets a shot and he goes in there and he's supposedly the new Enzo, and he just he skied a horrible. It was terrible finish. He barely hit the ball. That was really bad. And I think we suffered until the very, 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 very end. But we brought in some fresher legs. We brought Malo Gusto to do some runs on the outside, which is tense a little bit more. And like I said, we brought Andrés Santos in for... And those changes came in late. Maybe because I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel, but when I start seeing that we're struggling against a low block, there's two options, right? You think your patterns of play are going to pay out, and you double down. You just say, I need to wait and give it at least until the minute 70 or minute 80, because we are breaking them down, and we missed a couple of chances that were sort of sitters, and another one's going to come in, and we're not going to miss the next one. And it's working. In that sense, it's working, right? It's just you can't do anything if the people that are supposed to put it in the back of the net are not. Although I would argue it's falling to the people that are not supposed to put it in the back of the net, and that should be a sign of something. But fair enough. Or the other is to say this is really we're not breaking them down the way we saw us break down PSG, or we saw Milan or Leverkusen or some of these friendlies, or even when we did well towards the end of last season. That's not happening. This is the complete that we had last year. Maybe it was unfair on Maresca, but maybe we feel like this one we lose. But I thought those changes needed to come a little bit earlier. How can you play with two 10s that are just locked in? And look, Caicedo has enough dealing with the transition all on his own, which he's really doing. And at times you found him when the counter came, which is kind of cruel. Usually it's him surrounded by three players that have just beat the two 10s and one of the wings back towards midfield against Chelsea, and you have this guy sort of 1 against 3, which they sometimes don't get away with it even like that, because this guy's a beast. But so on the transition, again weak, on the transition a little bit wide, and missing the goal. So no big thing. I don't think. Look, I'm not gonna say it's a crisis at all. It would be silly to say it's just one game in, but I think it brings us to reality. Chelsea fans, you need to come down and land. We were very excited, world champions, all this stuff. We beat PSG, yes, but the Premier League is a different animal. 38 hard games for the most part. I would say, yeah, 36 of the 38 are pretty hard games. It's only when you, if you manage to see a team that's really had a really bad start and suffering with injuries, maybe one of the teams that got promoted. But even then, on any given day in the Premier League, they can ruin your life with 2 long balls in on the counter. And certainly Chelsea, a game that is a team that is susceptible on the counter. Again, struggling against the low block. Look, they won. All right, so we're going to let it slide. It wasn't the worst case. We could have lost this game. They had their chances. Absolutely, they had their chances. There was a couple of shots. There was that free kick. There was a lot of opportunity. They could have had us. And no matter what the stats say, we've seen these games. And as a Chelsea fan, you know that in many years past, those of us that are older, you know that you can control a game by defending. It may not look like that to the people that are overexcited, don't understand football that much, but they're not going to score on you, and you're just holding on. You hit them on the counter, you win 1-0. Thank you, ma'am. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Take 3 points. And we were very much in danger of that happening. And given that we had these absences in the back, there was risk of that. At any point, they have speed, they have force. It's a good team. It's a good team that is not going to be that good the rest of the season. So we're kind of unfortunate because we know that they're going to lose a couple of players this season, absolutely, and that caused some damage today. So yeah, look, I think that we need to hold our heads up, not let this get to us, because I saw the players, of course, they were frustrated at the end of the game, defeated, man, because we should have done better. We could have done better. It was expected more of us at Chelsea. But we have the stuff. We're a young team. We have the fight in us. And this is what concerns me. We have a chance at a good start. There was a scenario where Chelsea could have won their first 5 games. We had a run of games that was possible for us to do that. And when you don't take advantage of those run of games, that's when you run into trouble. Remember last season when we had our slump was when we had supposedly we were going to have a run of easy games that we couldn't take advantage of. And that's the thing about a 38-game season and the toughness of the Premier League, right? It's not good enough that you played a decent game against a big guy, collected a point here at visiting a big team. It's being able to do the business with the quote-unquote smaller teams. And again, they're really tough sometimes, but that's where the business is done. And certainly beating Crystal Palace at home is one of those. For those of you that are talking about title challenges, those are the kind of games you just don't lose. So I think this just proves. We'll see at the end. I'm not going to ruin what my prediction is, but where Chelsea lands. But that is not what is expected. You saw Liverpool do the business. That's kind of what's expected. Yeah, they took on. They conceded a couple of goals, but they scored more, right? You can have a tough game and scrap it out 1-0, which was Chelsea was called to do. We just couldn't do it today. But I'm still happy. I'm excited. I'm grateful. I think it was hard fought. I think there wasn't lack of wanting, although I think some of the pundits were saying that. I think we did try. We did want. I just don't think that the patterns of play were very clear. Hopefully that'll change now when we get more practice against low blocks again during this Premier League season. So that's all for now. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the weekly update.